Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following the channel at all recently, you will have picked up on one of the things that I've been relatively critical about Eagle Dynamics and specifically Digital Combat Simulator World, DCS World, is the lack of compelling and, in my opinion, engaging and immersive single-player content. I think there's a lot of multiplayer content out there, especially some really cool servers out there that give you a bit of a sense of immersion. But in terms of single-player content, there's not an awful lot to be had. At least that's what I thought. So a few of you picked up on that and signposted to me something called DCS Liberation, which is an application created by a guy named Shudwhoop, SHWDP, DWP, something like that. I'll put a link to his post on the Eagle Dynamics forums in the show notes below. So this guy created this application. It was designed to address the shortcomings in the single-player game in DCS. And, while I, in some ways enjoyed kind of flying through it, there's a recent video that I had about it. It did I came away from it feeling a little bit cold and not really that impressed. Not specifically with the application. Again, I think anybody who spends their time trying to build content for those of us who want to enjoy DCS are in some ways heroes. But I did come away from that feeling a little bit let down. Not specifically just about the mission, but also about mostly the AI and the way the engine kind of spawns aircraft in, air traffic control. There were some serious letdowns for me. So I thought, came away from that thinking, and I ended that video. If you've seen that video, I'll put a link up. I ended that video on a bit of a rant, saying I just, I wasn't really loving DCS World, at least in terms of single player content. That's when many of you who watched that video then replied and said, hang on a sec here, Samurai, you're using the old version of DCS Liberation. A lot of water has passed under the bridge since that thing was released. And somebody named Khopa, I think, Khopa, has picked up the mantle, taken the existing code base, forked it in Git, and started to create his own version of it, building on what Shudwhoop started with. And the result is this, what you see in front of you right now. This is DCS Liberation 2.0, release candidate 9. And I'll tell you, at least in terms of interface, it looks an awful lot better. First of all, it's a much more contemporary interface. The window is resizable, which was one of the kind of shortcomings of the original one. Here we go. So you can see it kind of resizes. The map is zoomable and zoom outable. I mean, the other one was as well, but the graphics that it uses are a little bit more esoteric in terms of landmass, but broadly achieve the outcomes. I mean, you can see here, this is the Strait of Hormuz. This is the northern tip of Oman here with Kasab Air Base there. Kashim is there. So you can clearly make out what you need to be able to make out. And these blue nodes are air bases. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, what I've been doing is I've been playing around a little bit in this. I haven't actually flown a mission yet. All I've done is spawned in, got some funds, bought some things, skipped turns and that sort of thing. So I've not actually flown a mission yet. So but you can see this is a kind of nighttime. This is I think my third pass, and you can just see I've just been skipping missions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk you through the creation of a new game. So let's go to new game, and we'll create a new campaign. And this is where it starts to get really cool. First of all, Khopa's put in a wizard to help you kind of step you through the variables that you can set at the beginning when before you start generating a campaign, and the campaign that results will be dependent on those variables, and I'll go through that now. So if we click on next, the first thing you get to do is choose a faction. Now you think, okay, red versus blue, it's that simple. Well, it's not actually. What you got is you've got blue, but you've got a bunch of options. So for example, if you want to fly modern aircraft on the blue side, here's the down selected and curated list of aircraft that you have available. But you can say, actually, I want to fly USA 1960. And I'm going to fly a F-86 Sabre or a P-51. You could even say, actually, I want to do a World War II battle. and I want to take Allies 1944, and there you go. You've got all the Allied warbirds that are available in the sim. Now, of course, you need to have these modules in the sim. You can't just magically start flying them. But if you've got them, these options are going to be available to you. You can choose France 2005, for example. You've got some Mirages. I don't know why they've stuck a Hornet in there, but okay. Now, I'm going to take Blue Force Modern. And here's where it gets really fun. If I wanted to, I could say, hang on, I'm going to fly against Germany 1944. Well, that wouldn't be much of a battle, would it? I like to think that we'd kick their ass, hopefully. You could take China 2000 and fly against China. In this case, I'm going to take Iran 2015, where you can see that they've got the Fulcrum Alpha, F4Es, F-14 Bravos, some F5s, MiG-21s, Su-24s, Su-25s, Su-17s, old school, some Mi-28s, and some Mi-24 Hinds. And we're going to fly for the Blue 4. Next. Right, and this is where you get to choose the map that you want to use. And not just the map, the setup of the map that you want to fly in, right? So you've got some Caucasus options. You've got some Persian Gulf options. You've got Nevada, you've got Normandy, and you've got the Channel. Now, I don't have the Channel map. I don't tend to fly warbirds that much. I know everybody's been saying I should get into it. I might give it a try, but for now, I like flying the modern stuff. Hopefully, Khopa is going to come out with a Syria kind of add-on to this when the Syria map is released. I know it's out on for pre-order right now. I haven't bought it yet, but I probably will. It looks awesome. I'm going to take the Persian Gulf map. It's by far my favorite map in DCS, at least right now. I think Syria might give it a run for its money, but we'll see. And B, this is the beginnings of this invasion of Iran, so I'm going to fly that. Now, you can see that there are some options here, like there's a Persian Gulf full map. It says not tested, so you can see that that's not quote-unquote recommended. I'm going to stick to the recommended ones for now because I don't want to beta test any of these things. And then you can choose the time. I'm going to choose Modern Fall 2010. Next. I don't want to start mid-game. I want to start right at the beginning, and the multiplier is disabled anyway, so I'm not going to bother with that. Right, finish. And while that's happening, I'm going to take a swig of Corona, the beer, not the virus. Did I click it? Maybe I didn't click it. Oh, time for another mouthful. There we go. Right, so it has created a conflict. You can see what's happened is the hypothetical situation is the blue side, in this case the United States and aligned Western allies, have managed to get a foothold into the southern bits of Iran, just to the north part of the Strait of Hormuz, and are starting to kind of push inland, or trying to push inland. So Havadarya and Bandar Abbas are on the blue side. Now, I think, I'm just interpreting this because, like I said, I haven't flown it yet. These bars represent where the front line is in the battle between Havadarya and Lar and Bandar and Giroft. Giroft? Is it a soft yay, like yogging? So, yeah, I think that's the front line, and I'm hoping that when we get in the sim and I fly over that location, there's going to be some bad guys and some good guys fighting there. And if it is, that's going to make me happy. So what we need to do now is, you can see that this is where things are, but we need to go over to settings and just make sure that things are set up in the way that we like. So player coalition skill good. No, we're going to be awesome. We're going to be ninjas. No, ninjas. I want ninjas only. Enemy skill average. Yeah, okay, we'll leave it on that. Enemy AA and vehicle skill average. I think for the first playthrough, I'm just going to try and keep this a bit advantageous on our side. In-game labels, no. Labels, not so much. But dot labels, yes. I do like the dot labels. No night missions. No. We want to have that on. That's one of the best things about the Hornet. Map visibility options. We'll leave it on all for now. I might choose kind of fog of war or own aircraft only or something along those lines later on. We are going to allow external views. Mission generator. Ooh, yes. We want to use the supercarrier because, well, the supercarrier is awesome. These are all fine. I'll let you go through those on your own time. What this does down here, I believe, is it allows you to cull units that are far away from where you're spawning in, thus helping with things like frame rate. So I am going to enable that. but I've got a pretty beefy computer, so I'm going to set that to about 170 kilometers, 175 kilometers. Then we're going to go to cheat menu. I am going to cheat again, just for the purposes of getting through this the first time. I might try without cheating the second time. But we're going to give ourselves a good chunk of cash. Moderately realistic. I think if the US did choose to invade Iran, I don't think we'd. I don't think the US would do it on the cheap. So now we need to start to populate these nodes, these friendly nodes, with aircraft. So I'm going to choose Bandar. I'm going to open the base menu. Let's try that again. And there we go. Similar to DCS Liberation 1, you can start to buy aircraft. Again, much more contemporary interface. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on ground forces. Because again, I think, you know, there's a battle going on here, and, well, there's a front line there. And if we don't have any forces to hold that front line, I tell you that the Iranians are going to push us right back to Bandar pretty quickly. So what we want to do is give these guys some help. We're going to take some Abrams, and we're going to put, what do we put? 1 platoon of Abrams. No, we'll do 2 platoons of Abrams. We'll do 1 battery of M109 artillery, self-propelled artillery. We'll do a platoon of these guys. We'll do a platoon of Bradleys. I don't know what a martyr is. What's a martyr? Someone tell me what a martyr is in the notes below. Some Humvees. They're pretty cheap. Let's get 4 of those. MLRS. Oh, that's one of those multiple launch rocket systems. Those things are badass. We'll put 2 of them there as well. And we're going to keep them defensive. You can put them on aggressive or retreat or breakthrough or elimination or ambush. We're going to put them on defensive, trying to hold that position. All right, so that's the ground forces. In terms of aircraft at this location, obviously that the front line is not too far from Bandar, so we need to put some CAS assets there. So we're going to put 2 squadrons of A-10s. They're going to need some help in the air, so we're going to give them some Apaches. 1 squadron of Apaches. We're going to... What else do we need to give them? Let's give them some air transport. Do we want air transport? Maybe we don't need it. No, let's leave it off for now. We are going to give them some cap cover, though. So let's take F-16s here. We'll take 4 F-16s. Squadrons of F-16s. Now, I'll tell you what, 2 squadrons of F-16s. There we go. Got lots of cap cover. And there we go. We've got some close air. We've got some helicopters for close air as well. Some longbow Apaches. And we've got some F-16s for cap. Perfect. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's close this down and see how much we spent. We spent $1 billion. Yikes. Okay, well, it's a good thing that the American taxpayer is paying. Right, let's go over to here to Havadaria and do the same thing. Let's give these guys... I'll tell you what, the Germans/Canadians are protecting this place. So let's give them some Leopard 2s. Let's give them 1.5 platoons. Let's say that 2 of their tanks are broken. Let's give them a full battery of M109s. Some of these Strikers. A couple Bradleys, just 2 Bradleys. Again, Martyrs, don't know what they are. And let's give them 4 of these. And let's give them 1 MLRS and say that they're defensive. And then in terms of this, let's give them 4 A-10s. In fact, let's say the Marines are here. Let's say the Marines are at this location. So let's do 4 AV-8Bs. Now let's do two squadrons of them. We'll do some KA-50s to try and pretend that they're AH-1 Zulus. The Marine attack helicopter. What are we going to do for cap here? We took 16s at the last place. Should we take 15s? I suppose we could take F-14s or Mirage 2000s. I'll tell you what, we don't want to take F-14s because the Iranians are flying the 14s. And if I see a 14 on the RWR, I want it to be a bad guy. So let's take F-15s. Right, what do we got? We've got 8 Harriers, 4 KA-50s, 8 F-15s. Good. How much did we spend there? Eesh, about 700 million. Yikes. Right. Let's go over here to the GW, open base menu. And this is just going to be F-18s. So let's take 3 squadrons of F-18s. Okay, and then let's go over here to the Saipan. and take 4, 2 squadrons of Harriers. Done. Well, we spent a good amount of money, but we've still got some change. Right, that's the setup. Now what we need to do is we need to actually run the resupply. So to do that, you press pass turn. And there it is. Now we're the next day. For both of these front lines, you see that they pushed back. That's because we didn't have any forces to actually fight with. We now have forces at these locations. The front lines, they're, you know, the Iranians are pushing us back towards the sea, and we don't want a Dunkirk kind of scenario. So we need to help these guys out. So this is where it starts to get really cool. Oh, look at this. You were a cheater and you should feel bad. Do you know what? You know what, Khopa? I don't feel bad, pal. I don't feel bad at all. This is where it gets really cool. If you want to fly a mission, all you have to do is go up to mission planning. So this button here. Okay, mission preparation. So let's say we wanted to fly from a Harrier from Havadarya. Look at that. It's automatically, the commander has fragged a destruction of enemy air defense mission, a suppression of enemy air defense mission, a strike mission, 2 CAS missions, and some cap missions from those F-15s. Cool, right? So instantly those are there. So if I wanted to fly one of these, let's say I wanted to fly this strike here, I just select the mission, and then I'd click on client count, the slots count, to 1, and then I'd be able to fly that mission. I'm going to fly it from the George Washington. So, and again, what we saw was there were 3 squadrons, right? So there'll be 6 flights because the commander's going to try and use all of his assets if he possibly can. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bar caps and 2 seed missions. Now those seed missions will probably be quite important. So we don't really want to steal one of those, and we could just fly that. I could just say I want to fly that, but actually what I want to do is I want to go up here and I want to see if there's a fight going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these bar caps, the one that's leaving in 65 minutes. Now I can't create a flight because all of the airframes are taken. So you can see I can't actually select an airframe. So all the 18 airframes are taken. So I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to add a flight, and it's going to be the Hornet. There it is, and I'm going to take close air support. I'm going to add, and there we go. We have a Hornet flight taking off in 0 minutes. Now we don't want that because that one takes off in 1 minute. That one takes off in 5 minutes. So we don't want to be crowding up the deck all at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to something like, let's say 8 minutes. That's 3 minutes. No, you go away. 8 minutes. That's 3 minutes after these guys leave. So that should be enough time. You know, they might just be on the cat just as we get in, but hopefully not. So we'll move this to 1. We're going to take off cold. Now I have been chatting. Chatting to Khopa on Discord. I don't think the cold thing actually works on the carrier. I think he said he's going to fix that in the next launch. In terms of payload, launch of the software that is, release, I'm going to take a custom loadout. I'm going to take 9 X-rays on the wingtips. I'm going to take a bunch of Mavericks is what I'm going to take. I'm going to take 2 per wing. I'm going to take a lightning pod on the left cheek station. On the center, I'm going to take some fuel, although I probably won't need it. I could actually... Do I want to? No, I'm going to take some fuel. On the right cheek station, I'm going to take an AIM-120 Bravo. And then we're going for the Mavericks again. There we go. That's our loadout. And we're going to go waypoints. Now, watch this. Watch this. This is cool. So we don't have a target yet, right? So what we want to do is we want to generate a CAS mission, a close air support mission. So we just click this button, and it says, okay, which front line would you like to fight? Would you like to fight at the Havadarya/Lar front line, which is around here somewhere? Or do you want to fly the Bandar Giroft front line? And that's the one we're going to take. It says it's a front line. It's 800 feet above the ground, and there's some X and Y coordinates. 66 miles to target from the GW. So we're going to click on OK. And look at that. It's automatically populated some waypoints for us. Now, the steer point 4, waypoint 4, is where the close air support's going to happen. We ingress at 3 and egress at 5. So I'm going to actually say, let's put that to 10,000. Okay. We'll put that to 10,000. And we'll put that to 10,000. There we go. Perfect. Now you can kind of create your own waypoints, but I'm just going to use the auto-generated ones. Right, now that's as far as I've got with this. That's as far in testing as I've got. I've not actually clicked on takeoff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on takeoff and see what it says. Here we go. Okay, you are clear for takeoff. In DCS, open up the mission editor, not the mission tab, the mission editor, and load the file Liberation next turn. Then once the mission is loaded in the ME, in the menu flight, click on fly mission to launch. Okay, cool. All right. Ooh, I cannot minimize that to actually launch DCS. Well, we can just do it the old school way. In fact, I have a Stream Deck, so I'm just literally gonna click on the Stream Deck. What's going on here? Stream Deck, there you go, and launch BMS. So I won't sit here and make you wait through the launch of BMS. I'll probably cut the video there and I'll catch back up with you in the sim.